Hello students, as you know that we are revising chapter number 8, that is body movements. So what topics have we revised in our previous session? In our previous session we have studied about cartilage. What is cartilage? Unlike bones that are hard and that cannot be bent, cartilage is soft and can be bent. Our skeleton is made up of joints, bones and cartilage. Then we have studied about how do our bones move. So, how do our bones move? It is due to muscles. When muscles work in pair, it shows the contraction and relaxation. When one of the muscle contracts, the bone is pulled towards that muscle. And at that time, the another pair of the muscle relaxes. Muscles always pull the bone. They never push the bone. And muscles always work in pairs to make the bone move. Then we have studied about gait of animals. That is the different movements shown by the animals to move from one place to another. In that, we have studied about earthworm. How does the earthworm move? The body of the earthworm is made up of many rings that are joined from one end to another. Earthworm's body does not contain bone, but there are muscles which help in the movement of the earthworm. Muscles helps to extend and shortens the earthworm's body. Repeated contraction and expansion of the muscles leads to the movement. Earthworm's body also contains the tiny bristles, which helps the earthworm to have the good grip on the ground. So, these are the topics that we have studied in our previous session. I hope all the topics are understood to you. So now, let us begin with the today's session. In today's session, first we will study about snail. How does the snail moves from one place to another? Now, have you ever noticed the snail? How does the snail looks like? Have you observed the rounded structure on the snail's back? The rounded structure that the snail carries on its back is called the shell. So, it is the shell that you observe on the snail's back. And it is the outer skeleton, but it is not made up of bones. The shell is a single unit and does not help in moving from place to place. So, the shell is a single unit and it does not help the snail to move from one place to another. It is dragged or carried along. Now, do you remember? While studying the movement of the snail, we have studied one activity. What we have studied in that? In that, the snail was placed on the glass plate. And when the snail started to move, the glass plate was lifted and the movement was observed of the snail, isn't it? So, what we have observed in that? A thick structure and the head of the snail may come out of an opening in the shell. So, from the opening in the shell, the thick structure and the head of the snail may come out. The thick structure is its foot. So, this thick structure that we observe is the foot of the snail. And the foot is made up of strong muscles. So, how does the snail moves? Snail move very slowly and in wavy motion. Now next we will study about cockroach. How does the movement in the cockroach is shown? How does the cockroach moves? Cockroaches walk, climb as well as fly in the air. You might have noticed that cockroaches are able to walk, climb, and they can fly in the air. They have three pairs of legs that help the cockroaches to walk. So, the body of the cockroaches have three pairs of legs. These pairs of legs help the cockroaches to walk. The body of the cockroach is covered with a hard outer skeleton. Outer skeleton is made up of number of plates joined together that permits the movement. So, how is the body of the cockroach? The body of the cockroach is made up of hard outer skeleton, and this hard outer skeleton is made up of number of plates that are joined together, which permits or helps the movement of the cockroach. There are two pairs of wings attached to the body behind the head. Also, the cockroach body contains two pairs of wings that are attached to the cockroach body behind its head, which helps them to fly. The cockroaches have the distinct muscles in their body. Those near the legs moves the legs for walking, and body muscles move the wing when it flies. So, the muscles that are present near the legs helps the cockroaches to walk, and the body muscles move the wings, which helps them to fly. Now next we will study about birds. How birds are able to move. Birds can fly in the air and also walk on the ground. So you might have noticed that the birds can fly in the air and also they can walk on the ground, isn't it? The birds can fly because their bodies are well suited for flying. So how is it possible for the birds to fly? It is because their bodies are well suited for flying. Their bones are hollow and light. So how are the bones of the birds? They are hollow and light. The bones of the hind limbs are typical for walking and perching. So the hind limb bones are typical for the birds to walk and perch, that is, they can rest or sit on that. The bony parts of the forelimbs are modified as the wings. So the forelimbs are modified as the wings, due to which they can fly. The breastbones are modified to hold the muscles of flight, which are used to move the wings up and down. So the breastbones are modified so that they can hold the muscles during the flight, which helps them to move their wings up and down. Also, there are some birds like ducks and swans that swims in water. Also, there are some birds that cannot fly, like ostrich, emu, etc. They are not able to fly. So, what topics have we covered in today's session? Today, we have studied the movements in snail, cockroaches and birds. How snail are able to move from one place to another. How cockroach are able to walk, climb and even fly. And how birds can fly in the air. So, I hope all the topics that we studied today are understood to you. We will continue with this chapter in our next session.